everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather, and today, as the end of the year is closing in on us and we begin to think and plan for a new year, scary though that may be, I thought I would share with you a little bit of my inner workings and my plans for next year, though honestly I'm trying not to have too many regimented plans, things I will probably talk more about in January. But I thought I would tell you about a couple of authors that I've been thinking about a lot lately that I really want to make sure that I read more from in the next year. And the first of those is Charles Dickens. Now, I have read a lot of his major works. I have read A Tale of Two Cities, Little Dorrit, Great Expectations, Bleak House, and Oliver Twist. But I haven't read any of his other works, and I feel like I really should, especially if I want to read The Artful Dickens by John Mullen. Now, I have a copy of Our Mutual Friend on my TBR, so I'm hoping to get to that at some point next year when I have the time to tackle a huge book, which I think is some of the problem with Dickens and why I haven't read as many of them as I perhaps feel like I should have. But in addition, my mother has been working her way through Dickens throughout this year and has been loving all of them, and so I would love to be able to talk to her about them more. But I have to have read them first. So that is one of my goals for next year. Another Victorian author that I need to read more from is Elizabeth Gaskell. Again, I've read her major stuff. I've read North and South, I read Cranford, and I read Mary Barton this time last year, but I haven't read any of her smaller works like Ruth or Sylvia's Lovers or The Moorland Cottage, and those are three that have been really calling to me. Oh, and I did read Wives and Daughters. I just don't own a copy because I didn't really like it. I'm sorry, Kate. I'm sorry, Megan. I know you both love it. So those are some smaller works that I want to try and get my hands on next year. And the last Victorian author that I want to read more from next year is Anthony Trollope. I read the first in the Barsetshire series last month, well, October, which I suppose is 2 months ago now. Ooh, time. But anyway, I really enjoyed it recently, and as you will have seen, Marissa very kindly bought me the next 2 books in the series, plus I picked up 3 more of his works just this fall alone. I currently have Can You Forgive Her, The Way We Live Now, and The American Senator. Can You Forgive Her is going to have to wait a while because that is the first in the Palliser series, so I have to have read all of Barsetshire before I get to that one. Oh, and I have number 5. I have the small house at Allington. So I have to finish the Barsetshire series before I carry on with any of his other works, although maybe I could work in The Way We Live Now and The American Senator because those I don't believe are tied to any of his series. I would also love to read He Knew He Was Right. So yeah, I need to read more Trollope. He is slowly invading my life, so I need to get on that so he does not overwhelm me entirely. And the last author I need to read more of is Susanna Kearsley. You all probably know how much I adored The Winter Sea, and I haven't loved any others of her standalones as much as this one. But there are 2 other books in this series that I am desperate to read. They are The Firebird and The Vanished Days, which I believe was just published last month. So I am thrilled to continue with these characters, as well as seeing if any of her other standalones live up to this one. Then there are some series that I need to finish, such as the Invisible Library series by Genevieve Cogman. I read the first 2, but I still have the next 2 sitting on my TBR for a good year at least. So I really need to finish this. I enjoyed the first 2. I wouldn't say they're my favorite series, but they are a lot of fun. I mean, fantasy and dragons and time travel with a library setting. You can't get much better than that. I also need to finish the Dido Kent mystery series by Anna Dean. Again, I read the first two years ago now, but I haven't read the next two, mainly because I was trying to find a copy of book number 3 for years. And I finally found one a couple of months ago. So now I can finally pick up where I left off and then carry into book 4, which I have owned for an embarrassing number of years. These are the story of Miss Dido Kent, a Regency spinster who, wherever she goes, ends up being called upon to solve various mysteries. There are so many other books that I also want to continue with. For example, I need to finish the Worst Witch series, which I started this fall. I want to read more plays. I want to read more books by Stacey Halls. There are so many books that I want to read. I need to read more Woodhouse. So many things come to mind, but honestly, if I kept going in that vein, we would be here all day, and I would be very overwhelmed and end up not reading much of anything next year. So those are the authors that I definitely want to commit to reading more of next year, although some of those others that I mentioned may sneak their way in at the end, may sneak their way in during the year as well. Let me know down below if there are any authors that you definitely want to continue with, or if you recommend pushing one of these authors higher up on my priority list than another, or just generally, what are you thinking about in terms of plans for next year? Like I said, I don't want to talk too much about that now. Number one, because I want to enjoy the rest of 2021 while it's here. And I don't want to put a lot of pressure on myself next year either by having a lot of plans of any sort. So thank you for listening to my ramblings, and I would love to talk with you some more if you are intrigued by any of them down below. And until next time, be safe, be well, and happy reading. Bye everyone.